Good afternoon and welcome to this afternoon's online YouTube launch of the exhibition and book Being Inbetween by Carolyn Mendelsohn. Welcome to Impressions Gallery. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Anne McNeil. I'm the director here at Impressions Gallery and I'm also the curator of this exhibition Being Inbetween. It's a shame we couldn't have all been here in the gallery in person. The gallery is obviously closed due to government guidelines and national lockdown. So we brought the gallery to you safely in your own homes. I'll just welcome Carolyn Mendelsohn again. Thank you, Carolyn. Thank you for the exhibition and the book.
Thank you. I am so delighted to be here, and I'm really delighted that you're able to sit at home and watch this launch. After 6 years' work, I have to say it's such an honour to have my work installed at Impressions Gallery. It's a real treat and delight for me to be able to walk through the door and see that work on the walls and to see those girls' faces shine and their words that are there to be seen and to be read. I'm really grateful to all the people that have helped me over the years make this project happen, and that's people from the girls through to their parents and their carers, through to people who have mentored me on the way, and the huge support that I've got from Anne McNeil and her team. I am really grateful. I would also love to thank those people who supported the Kickstarter for the Being Inbetween book, my first photo book. I may never make another one, and I have to say I'm so proud that the book is a reality and has been made possible by Colin Wilkinson and Bluecoat Press. I do hope you manage to get hold of a copy, that you read it, you treasure it, and you love it. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you very much, Carolyn, and I'll just second that. It's been an absolute pleasure working with you. And so now we're going to carry on with this launch with a specially made film by New Focus, Impressions Gallery Young People's Collective, in which they go beyond the work on the walls and speak to Carolyn about the making of Being Inbetween. Sit back and enjoy this 10-minute film. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Carolyn Mendelsohn. I'm a photographer and filmmaker, and I'm based in Bradford District. So my inspirations for this project started really with my memories of being between the age of 10 to 12. I've really strong memories of that time. I remember feeling incredibly uncomfortable in my own skin and really self-conscious. All these memories of this age and my kind of growing awareness of how fragile girls are at this age and how much the things that people can say can affect the way they see themselves made me really think about doing a piece of work where I was exploring that age group, where I was giving girls of that age, in some ways it was kind of starting point was my experience, but giving girls of that age the opportunity to be who they are and to be celebrated as they are. So when it came to the portrait sittings, before it got to that point, I would say I'd give a set of instructions. So I'd say, number one, I'm going to do a portrait of you, but I would like it if you wore the clothes of your choice. I don't want there to be parental intervention. I'm also going to ask you questions about your lives, about your hopes and your fears and your dreams. So they would come and I would talk them through how I would use the light. Also, if you look at the pictures, you can see that the girls are looking at us. And that was an intentional decision. I wanted those girls to have power. And so I explained to the young people who were participating, I want you to look straight into the camera. But I don't want you to stare, because what I would love is when we see the picture that you're looking at us, you're looking at the audience or the viewers. I would also, we would also have a discussion about how they might stand, because it was important to me that how they were standing was really natural to them. So some girls might want to stand with their arms folded, or sometimes it might be, we try different things, like they might kind of stand slightly at the side with her face there. They might stand with their arm there. It would be really a negotiation and a joint process between myself and them. And the starting point for that was, as a photographer, you're really powerful. And I wanted to really create a mutual process where they could equally take part in the telling of their own story. So I do the portrait, and then we go into a separate space, and I had the same set of questions. So I'd start off with, what's your name? How old are you? What are your hobbies? What is your dream? What do you hate? What do you love? What do you want to be when you're grown up? What are your hopes for the future? So all kinds of questions like that. All of the girls have had a big impact on me. They've all been different. They've all been singular in their dreams and their aspirations. I have really strong memories of Olivia coming. She was 12, and this was probably in 2015. Olivia came to the studio that I was shooting the portraits at. She was like a very small 12-year-old, but with a massive amount of energy, and I was really taken with her. I remember asking her the questions, and at the end of the series of questions, because they were very defined questions, she stopped me and she said, "Is there anything else you would like me to talk about?" None of the young people had said that to me before. And I said, "Oh, right, Olivia, have you got something you would like to tell me that I've not asked you about?" She went, "Yes. I've had 6 major heart operations throughout my life." And then she proceeded to tell me something so major in her life that I hadn't even touched upon, that in some ways made sense of her absolute engagement in every moment. And it also, she taught me that after the questions, always ask, "Is there anything else?" Becca, I remember Becca and Lottie coming, and they were the last 2 that came for portrait sittings. So February 2020, the very final portraits I took. Becca is such an exceptional and humorous human being. She has cerebral palsy. Her twin sister is Lottie. They do a lot of things together. Becca just charmed me with her intelligence, her humour. She wore a t-shirt that her mum was a little bit concerned about. Becca chose a t-shirt which said, "I'm only in it for the parking," with a picture of a wheelchair. And she had all these dreams and aspirations, and she had lots of hobbies, and she was really concerned that people in wheelchairs were given opportunities that able-bodied people have. And her wish was to walk. Her wish was to go to the same places that her sister could go, to run with her sister, to walk with her sister, to climb trees with her sister. And she was not afraid to talk about this. But at the same time, she had a massive amount of humour, and she wanted to make the world a better and easier place and more accessible to people that had physical challenges, were in wheelchairs. And she was brilliant. And the one thing that really touched me greatly is that at the end of the interview, I asked Becca and Lottie about what their experience was of being part of Being in Between.
What did you think of being in between?
Showing what we really are. Yeah, showing who we really are, and letting our voice be heard. And so we're not in the shadows.
So you're not in the shadows. Thank you so much. Becca, thank you. Lottie, that was brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you.
The really, really interesting thing for me about doing this project, particularly over like 6 years, a long period of time, and interviewing those girls with the same set of questions, was actually, I saw how their responses also reflected the changes in our world and our society, politically and socially at the time. Initially, there was lots of talk about self-image and about the pressure to conform and look a certain way, and how it was important to feel it was all right to be who you are. There were young people talking about homelessness and their concern about poverty and war and terrorism. And equality was a massive issue, and people being treated well by other people, people not being mean to other people. And then as time went on, I remember they started to talk about, I think just over a year ago, climate change. And that was a huge thing in their lives. They were being educated on climate change within school, but also amongst themselves, amongst their peer groups. It was a major concern. And then my last shoot was in February this year. I remember Lottie saying to me, and this is February, I have a real fear of coronavirus. And that was the first time it was mentioned. And I remember responding to her and saying, you know what, Lottie, so do I. I am really excited to say that Being In Between has been published as a book by Bluecoat Press. And not only that, but it has an essay written by Anne McNeil, who is Director of Impressions Gallery, and a foreword by Zelda Cheetle. Not in a billion years did I imagine this was going to happen. It was a dream, and now it's a reality. And I really hope that you get hold of the book, that you see the faces of the girls, that you read their words. I hope the book goes all over the world. I think that this project, though it's based on my memories of being that age, and it's about my view as a girl of that age, it's actually universal. It's about hope, it's about aspirations, it's about being at that very cusp of your future, of our future, of their futures. So I hope that people that come to see the work invest some of themselves when they see it, and give those girls the space to have their moment, and that it then maybe alters their perception of what girls of that age are capable of, and what think and how they think and how they feel. I also hope that people see it not just as about girls, but also about the humanity of this time, and that it gives people a kind of hope for the future.
Welcome to our virtual exhibition of Being In Between. To access this, you just need to click on the link on our website, which can be found on our homepage or under What's On. And the experience works well on desktops, laptops, tablets, and mobile devices. So once you're in, you can move around the gallery, and you'll notice that a soundtrack starts playing, which features voices of the girls that are featured in the exhibition.
I love my family, friends, acting, singing and dancing. I dislike pigeons, clowns and really big dogs.
If you want to mute the soundtrack, you can do that by just pressing the mute button in the bottom left of the screen there. So to move around the gallery, you can jump to these white circles just by clicking, and you'll notice that there's a circle in front of each image which gives you an ideal point to stop and have a closer look at each individual portrait. There's also a smaller circle in front of these, which enables you to get really kind of up close to each image caption. And the captions feature quotes from each girl featured in the exhibition. So these are really important to read alongside looking at the images. As you walk around the gallery, you will notice that there are a few other features. So we've also got these white circles which appear on the walls as well. And these indicate that we've got a resource or a bit of extra information that you can have a look at. So here we've got an excerpt of the 25-minute film, which features all of the girls, all 90 of the girls in the Being Inbetween exhibition. And you can view this as full screen, or you can pause, play, stop, start, and move on. Just to have a look at some of the other features, we've also got near our introductory panel, we can click on this circle here and we can see our information sheet, which includes more information about Carolyn Mendelsohn as well. And we can view this full screen if we like. We've also got a link here to the Meet the Artist film, which you've just seen, which you can also view a transcript for if you just click the little link above.
Hi, my name's Carolyn Mendelsohn. I'm a photographer and filmmaker, and I'm based in Bradford District.
We can also link through to Carolyn's fantastic new publication by clicking on this link here. And finally, another resource we've got just over here by Alice is a link here to the specially commissioned film Girl Power by New Focus, which I am not going to show you as we're about to have the official premiere. So do have a look around the gallery in your own time. Obviously, the gallery is closed to the public at the moment, and though this can't really replace the physical experience of visiting, we think it provides a great alternative to explore Being in Between at your own pace. The virtual exhibition will remain on our website, and it will be part of our archive after the exhibition ends as well. So I just want to say thank you to B21, who've put together this virtual exhibition for us, and also to Art Fund. We recently received some funding from Art Fund's Respond and Reimagine grant, which offers funding to help museums and galleries adapt to the challenges of COVID-19. So this has really helped us up our game and our digital presence and produce this fantastic virtual exhibition. So I hope you all managed to have a little look around, have an explore. And I'm going to hand over to Camwell now, who's going to tell us a bit more about New Focus's new film, Girl Power.
Hi, my name is Camwell. I'm part of New Focus Impression Gallery's Young People Collective. We've been working on a film called Girl Power, in which we've interviewed 3 girls from the exhibition called Alice, Amira and Kiara. It's been really inspiring meeting the 3 girls and hearing their stories. We hope you enjoy the film. Hi, my name is Kanwal. I'm part of New Focus, a group of young people who work with Impressions Gallery. Being in Between by Carolyn Mendelsohn is an exhibition that showcases 90 powerful portraits of girls aged between 10 and 12 who proudly pose for the camera and share their hopes, fears and aspirations for the future. We were so inspired by the girls' stories, we wanted to meet some of the girls and find out more. So we've been on a journey around Bradford to meet Alice, Amira and Kiara. Meet Alice, who chose to be filmed in Haworth outside the bookshop. Alice is an aspiring author who has always been inspired by the Brontes.
My name's Alice. I live in the Keighley part of Bradford, This portrait was taken when I was 11 years old. I am now 13. When I am an adult, I want to be an author, and maybe I want to set up a business to help children who are in foster families or in care, or those who have a disability. My ambition is to help other children to make them feel that they are not alone. I have craniosynostosis. When I was a baby, the bones in my head had already fused together. When I was 6 months old, I had to have an operation and another when I was 1. My wish is to visit the rainforest. I imagine it will be tropical and I would love the smell.
What do you think about being part of Being In Between?
I think it's like really cool and I've really enjoyed it and it's been fun.
What did it feel like to have your portrait taken? Were you excited or nervous?
I was excited and I was nervous, and it was a bit weird because I'd never done anything like that.
What do you think about your photograph and what it says about you?
I think it shows that I'm strong, and just because I've got a disability it doesn't make me different from anyone else.
Definitely.
I want to be an author because I like to write, because I'd like to write stories and poems about children who are different. And I want to work in a special school because I'd just like to help children who are different from us and help them get through and let them know that they're not alone.
Yeah. Have you changed your mind in the last 2 years, or do you still want the same job?
Well, last year I was thinking that I wanted to set up a business and help kids in care, but now I'm set on the special school.
What are your hopes or fears for the future?
My hopes are that we can all be treated the same no matter where we come from or our background, and my fear is that this won't happen and we'll just carry on discriminating people.
So is there anything else you want to share? Like, you want people to know about?
Just to let people know that whatever you're going through, there's someone else out there who's going through the same thing.
Meet Amira, an aspiring lawyer who has a passion for anti-racism, who decided to be filmed outside the Bradford Crown Court next to the contemporary leaf sculpture.
My name is Amira. This portrait was taken when I was 12 years old. I am now 14 years old.
So what did it feel like to have your portrait taken?
I don't know, it made me feel like I was famous or something, like the paparazzi.
So tell us about wanting to be a fairy. I know it was 2 years ago, but it's like, it was really nice when we read that.
Yeah, obviously a very like old type of thing now, I'm older. But becoming a fairy, it was just, I guess, a really big childhood dream. Just like to get fairy wings and fly and leave the issues of the world, you know, escape.
Is that like, did you read something, or is it specifically from a book?
From like, do you know when you read the news and you see like issues and it makes you really sad. So obviously you want to just get away from that and wish the world was a different place sometimes.
Yeah. Tell us about your passion for equality.
My passion for equality all started when I became more awake to like the news and the issues around the world, like people experiencing like racial attacks and inequality attacks. It's not fair, and I wish the world was different.
Mm-hmm.
My hopes for the future are that the world will change and see and begin to love other people's differences. But my fears is that the world will become more segregated, and that people will just get less of a voice.
Yeah. What do you think about your photograph and what it says about you? Like,
I guess, especially with the caption as well, I guess it just shows that other children my age, that they have a voice and they can also speak out about the inequalities and the differences in the world.
Meet Kiara, who's an aspiring surgeon who chose to be filmed in Bowling Park because she has a passion for the environment.
My name's Kiara, I live in BD5. This portrait was taken when I was 10 years old and I'm now 11, almost 12. My dream is to become a surgeon, and I really dislike racism and all things like that. I'm really passionate about our environment and how it's being destroyed by people older than my generation.
So what do you think about being part of Being In Between?
It's a bit like, I like the fact that I'm like here because it's like I get to kind of spread like a message and I get to be myself, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's really nerve-wracking. I get nervous coming here because I'm a bit camera shy.
Tell us what job you would like in the future. What inspired you to want to do this job?
When I'm older, when I'm an adult, I want to be a surgeon because since I was little, I wanted to be like some kind of doctor to like help people and things like that, and I just want to like carry on with that dream, I guess.
Why is anti-racism important to you?
Because I've like, let's just say I've experienced it, so I know what it's like, and I just want it to like, I want it to start because I don't really want anyone else to feel the same way I did. My hopes for the future is that the environment isn't in like the state it is now. I hope it gets better, and one of my fears is what if it doesn't, because then I won't be able to live like a normal human being.
How do you feel about your portrait being in an exhibition?
I'm excited for it. Like, I like the fact that like it's boosted my confidence a little bit because I had to stand in front of a camera and I had to answer loads of questions and stuff like that, and it's like boosted my confidence, and just knowing that people are going to an exposition to see my picture just makes me feel like, I don't know, happy about it.
That is amazing.
So that was a great film, Girl Power by New Focus. We're now on to the final segment of this afternoon's launch, and it's the official book launch of the book Being In Between. And I'm now going to hand over to a little message by the publisher Colin Wilkinson from Bluecoat Press to talk more about the book and how it came about. Thank you.
Hello and Happy New Year to everyone. I'm Colin Wilkinson of Bluecoat Press. Every year, hundreds of photographers approach me wishing to see their work published as a book. The big problem though is I'm only a small independent publisher, and in a normal year I don't publish more than 7 or 8 books. I'm always on the lookout for something special, and when I saw Carolyn's work I knew that I had to publish it. Her fantastic images, the words for young people made a powerful combination. So I agreed to publish it, and we set off down a path of raising the money and then getting the book out. We decided to use Kickstarter to raise funding for the book. Bluecoat Press has used this platform successfully many times, and with Carolyn's book it was no exception. We raised the money thanks to the great support of Team Impressions and so many people, probably many of you watching tonight. As soon as the funding was finished, we then could get on with the design and used a great designer, Joe Gilmore, who did a wonderful job in producing a book that I'm so proud to have on my shelf. It's an exceptionally good book, beautifully produced, and I think, as I said before, I think it's a very important book. So thank you, one and all, for making this book happen. Thank you, Carolyn, for producing such wonderful work. Thank you, Impressions, for not only supporting the book, but holding this exhibition as well. You've been a great support to Carolyn over the years. And to Joe and everyone else that had a part in making this book happen. It's a difficult time, and it's such a great shame that this can't be a proper launch with wine being shared and good company, good talk. But hopefully these things will be happening before too long. So may I wish everybody a happy new year. Thank you for supporting the book. Thank you too for supporting Bluecoat Press over the last year or however long you've been supporting me. And next year, hopefully, or this year should I say, a lot more is going to happen in a positive way. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you for that, Colin. Thank you. It's always good to hear from Colin. So I have one more announcement. During the duration of the exhibition, when it's here at the gallery, we're offering it to people at the special price of £24. The normal price is £28. I highly recommend that you buy this, not only because I've written the essay, but because it's definitely one of the best photo books I've seen in a long, long time. Being Inbetween by Carolyn Mendelsohn. So that's it, folks. That's the end of our online YouTube launch today here in the gallery. I'd like to thank you all for attending, and I'd also like to thank our funders who have made Being Inbetween possible. That's the Arts Council England and Bradford Council. Thank you for attending, everyone. Thank you. Take care and stay safe. And I hope that one day you'll be able to come down to the gallery in person and see this amazing, poignant and moving exhibition. Thank you, Carolyn. Thank you so much.